SpongeBob SquarePants Mysteries. Find a missing star. Chapter 2. Patrick? SpongeBob repeated uncertainly. Where are you? He couldn't understand why his best buddy wasn't right outside the Krusty Krab patiently waiting for him. Patrick had said, "See you then," when they'd parted that morning. See you then. That was like a promise. A best friends forever promise. They were supposed to have best buddies fun together. Together! Patrick! SpongeBob called, cupping his hands around his mouth. Where are you? He turned in a circle, looking in every direction, but Patrick was nowhere to be seen. SpongeBob thought. Maybe he caught up in something he was doing at home. Sometimes that happens to me. I'll be so interested in what I'm doing, like reading the latest Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy comic, or watching Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy on TV, or sitting around thinking about Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. That I'll lose track of time. That's probably what happened. Walking quickly, SpongeBob set out for Patrick's house to see if he was there. Soon his quick walk turned into a quick run, and then an all-out sprint. By the time he reached Patrick's rock, SpongeBob was breathing hard. Patrick! He managed to gasp. Are you home? He knocked on the rock several times, but there was no answer. SpongeBob panicked. What had happened to his best friend? Was he lost? Stuck? Hurt? He had to find him right away. Patrick! Patrick! He cried as he ran toward downtown Bikini Bottom. It's me, SpongeBob! Where are you? Passing the Fry Cook Museum, SpongeBob shouted Patrick's name through the open front door, but got nothing in return except for a scowl from the museum guard. Shh! The guard said, raising a finger to his lips. No shouting! SpongeBob seriously doubted Patrick would ever go to the Fry Cook Museum without him anyway. It was one of the many things they loved to do together. Still calling Patrick's name, SpongeBob passed by the Shady Shoals retirement home. Pipe down, you whippersnapper! One of the residents barked back at him, shaking a wrinkly fist. People are trying to nap for the rest of their lives! He settled back down in his rocking chair and closed his eyes. Oh, sorry, respected elder, SpongeBob apologized. Hooligan! The old-timer muttered as SpongeBob ran on, passing out of sight. Patrick! SpongeBob yelled as he jogged by Mrs. Puff's boarding school, but the only person there was Mrs. Puff, working on cleaning the empty classroom. When she heard SpongeBob shouting, she stuck her head out a window and told him, Patrick's not here, SpongeBob. Have you seen him today, Mrs. Puff? SpongeBob asked. No, I haven't, she said. Did you check to make sure he wasn't at home? SpongeBob wanted to scream out, Of course I did! That's the first place I looked! But he didn't want to be rude to his favorite teacher, so he just said, Yes, Mrs. Puff, I did. Well, I'm sure he'll turn up, Mrs. Puff reassured her least favorite student. Even when you hope and dream that maybe someone will just go away and never come back, she said, staring at SpongeBob. They always show up again. Okay, Mrs. Puff, SpongeBob said, looking puzzled. Thanks. See you in class. He really didn't understand her comment. She had to know that he would never hope and dream that Patrick would go away and never come back. Never. Wandering among the busy streets of downtown Bikini Bottom, calling out his best friend's name, SpongeBob got lots of annoyed looks from strangers in business fish and suits, but saw no sign of Patrick. At the edge of the downtown area, SpongeBob called out, Patrick! And finally got a response from a guy sitting on a bench who looked up from his copy of the Bikini Bottom Gazette. Yes? SpongeBob stopped and asked eagerly, Have you seen him? Seen who? The guy asked, puzzled. Patrick, SpongeBob explained. Oh, the guy said, lifting his paper. No, I thought you were talking to me. My name's Patrick. Patrick? SpongeBob said. What kind of a name is Patrick? A perfectly good name! The guy snapped angrily. Good day, sir! Calling out his best friend's name over and over, SpongeBob wandered all the way to the far side of Jellyfish Fields, thinking maybe Patrick had decided to do a little jellyfishing without him. Even though that was another thing the two best friends always did together, but when he hollered his name, all he heard in response was the peaceful buzz of the pulsing jellyfish. No Patrick. Finally, exhausted from running and walking all over town, SpongeBob went home to feed Gary. Oh, Gary! He cried as he refilled Gary's bowl with snail food. Where can Patrick be? I'm so worried about him. Meow, Gary suggested. No, I checked there, SpongeBob said sadly. Twice! After feeding Gary, SpongeBob ran over to Patrick's rock just to make sure he hadn't come home while SpongeBob was out looking for him. He hadn't. And it was getting dark outside. Patrick also hadn't come home when SpongeBob checked again 2 minutes later, or 2 minutes after that, or 2 minutes after that, or 2 minutes after that, or 2 minutes after that. Heading home late from his modern dance class, Schoolward was annoyed to see SpongeBob frantically knocking on Patrick's rock. He certainly didn't want those two idiots starting some ridiculous loud activity at that time of night. SpongeBob! He said. It's too late to be playing some silly game with Patrick. What are you doing up anyway? It's way past your bedtime. Go to sleep. But Squidward, SpongeBob protested. Patrick's missing. Yeah? Squidward replied. Well, I'm about to be missing my sleep. Why don't you help me find it by going to bed right now? Oh. Sighing, SpongeBob charged back into his home, shut the door, and turned off the lights. He climbed the stairs to his bedroom and tucked Gary in for the night. Oh, Gary! SpongeBob shouted. How can we possibly sleep when Patrick's out there somewhere all alone? Frightened, shivering in the cold, surrounded by ghosts and monsters! Meow, Gary pointed out. I can so know that! SpongeBob shouted, his nerves shot from worrying about his friend. Gary turned away from SpongeBob, pouting. Meow. Oh, I'm sorry, Gear Bear. SpongeBob apologized, wringing his hands. I didn't mean to yell at you. I'm just so worried. I'm just so upset about Patrick's disappearance, and I took it all out on you. Can you ever forgive me? Meow. Gary snored. Stay tuned for Chapter 3, coming up soon.